The Mishcon Academy Digital Sessions.
Welcome everyone to this Mishcon Academy Digital Session. This is a series of online events, videos and podcasts looking at the biggest issues faced by businesses and individuals today. Okay, I'd like to welcome Roger Hallam to the Mishcon Academy. Roger is a Welsh environmental activist and co-founder of Extinction Rebellion. Extinction Rebellion originated in the UK at a meeting of activists including Gail Bradbrook, Roger and Simon Bramwell in April 2018. Roger, I'd like to start, with a point of definition. So Extinction Rebellion's view is that we're in a climate crisis, and more specifically that we're in the midst of a mass extinction. Can you tell us a bit about what that crisis is in your view?
Everything about the climate crisis is embedded in a herding space which is in denial. If we were really emotionally going to be aware of what we face, then half of you would be crying by now, right? Tomorrow you'd have an emergency meeting of your company. But the reason you're not going to do that, right, is because you're sitting on nice chairs. You've been to quite a few of these meetings. You've got this lovely person here saying, it's a little bit of a problem, and then you've got me. In other words, what's happening in your heads is, there's this weird guy, and he's slightly gone off script. But it's all right, because everything else, all the other stimuli in your lives, and in this moment, is just saying, normal, normal, normal. After this meeting, you're going to go and have a nice day, and by tomorrow you'll have forgotten about it, apart from the 5% of you who are either super intelligent and or super sensitive, hopefully both. I'm just like a trained social scientist. And that's why Extinction Rebellion was so successful, is because we're empirical. We're actually starting with a blank sheet of paper and saying, what's the best way of influencing a bunch of 30 lawyers who are encased in privilege and normality, right? Well, if I was going to be really effective, I would take all my clothes off. But I'm not, because I don't have that much courage, okay? And I'm just a bit lazy, and I've sort of given up on the elites.
A number of the actions that Extinction Rebellion have taken in the last few years have been seen as pretty extreme and disruptive. What is proportionate in your view? So what's the right balance between something extreme and radical that creates mobilization and disrupts norms versus disruptive action that creates annoyance and actually disengages people?
In King's College, there's 30,000 people, okay? One person transformed their corporate policy in 3 weeks. His name was Roger Hallam, okay? So what did I do? I went with 5 students. I threw paint around the Gothic Central Hall, all those colonial statues, all that sort of thing. The vice principal came within 5 minutes. The following day, I was in the room with the vice principal. I was very nice to him because he was doing a Gandhi routine. And he said, what do you want? He said, I want you to divest and become carbon free. He said, I'll see what I can do. Then I went on hunger strike. He said, don't go on hunger strike. He said, I'm going to stop going on hunger strike when you divest. And he said, okay, I'll see what I can do. 2 weeks later, he's shaking my hand. The corporate strategy has changed. And, they're going to divest by 2022. XR, 10,000 people, 10 days in London. Greenpeace accepts that we did more to change the climate debate in this country in 2 weeks with 10,000 people than Greenpeace with a $50 million, dollar annual budget. Yeah?
You described the climate crisis as a genocide, that there's a very specific definition for the word genocide, which requires an intention to destroy. Is your view that there is an intention here in the climate crisis, or are you using that term genocide in a broader sense?
So how I look upon it is intentionality is a continuum, right? It's not a binary. Here's the gentleman on the front row. If I really don't like you and I want to kill you, then I have an intention to kill you, right? So that's at one extreme, isn't it? And by the way, I've got no intention to do anything unpleasant. I'm just using you as a concrete example, right? And then at the other extreme, you're in my house, there's a balcony. I haven't, mended the fence on the balcony. You lean against it and fall to your death. Well, I haven't really killed you, have I? But I could have mended the fence, yeah? So that's what, criminal negligence, sort of slightly. You see what I mean? It's not like you don't know. I mean, when this gentleman falls off my balcony, maybe I didn't know that the fence was like, wobbly. Well, you could say, well, you should have known, Roger. So, fair enough. That's like the Grenville argument, isn't it? We're facing the end of everything. And you're going to sit there and allow it to happen. Or the 95% if you are. Or maybe you're not.
On that note, I think we'll have to call it to a close as we've reached the end of our slot. But thank you very much, Roger, for coming in and bringing the call to action. And we'll see who are the 3 people at the end of the session. If anybody would like to get in contact with Roger, do you want to hold up your...
Here we go. Pathway to action, people. Anytime over the next 4 years. After that, it's too late.
Thank you very much. Would you like to join me in thanking Roger?
The Mishcon Academy Digital Sessions. To access advice for businesses that is regularly updated, please visit mishcon.com.